Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Portland Undead. This is episode 5, and tonight we have CliffAndIvy on the show. CliffAndIvy is Alaska's only goth band, and they just played Into the Shadows, which is a music fest here in Portland. And they've been around since 2012, and were recently named World Goth Band 2019 by World of Goth magazine. So, that being said, how was the show last night?
Oh, the show was great. We had a great time. All the bands were superb, and the sound was awesome. It was pretty well attended.
Oh, good.
And I think that, it was probably more attendance than what was expected. It was definitely more attendance than we have happen in Alaska.
Oh, I can imagine.
But the sound was perfect. I know there's not that many people in Alaska, but the sound was
It rocked.
great.
It was great.
Yeah.
And it was a benefit. It was a LGBTQ benefit, so that was really a bonus. For
I love to play a
awesome.
benefit show.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We felt lucky to be able to do it. It was a great
Because to meet some new friends too in the scene, because there were some really great bands there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it was cool.
And different.
And the promoter was really cool. So there's another one going on tonight.
Day 2.
And we played at KBOO FM, which is a community radio. We played on there on Halloween night. That was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
People called in, and some people won our shirts and things like that. So that was really fun to hear people's comments, and just know that they were listening. We wanted to just reach brand new people, meet people, and find out what's going on here. And that was a great slice of what's really going on, because the promoter put together a great show.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So also, I think our viewers would be really interested to know, what is it like in Alaska?
It's extreme, that's for sure.
It's pretty extreme. I mean,
it's extreme weather.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as far as what it's like, a lot of people are thinking about the weather, and of course, everybody knows it's super cold in the winter. It's actually been getting warmer. We've been there for a number of years now, and I think that climate change is real, because it's kind of a little bit warmer now in the winter. We don't have as much snow. Right now, we don't have snow, but we usually do by Halloween, so that's like a good example.
Mm-hmm.
Alaska is a beautiful place. It's pretty isolated. The things that stick out the most for us or me is, of course, the nature, the mountains, and the environment is just undeniable. I mean, there's some things that you can see that are, it would be like some people's life goal to see it, like being on a glacier, walking on a glacier. We've done music videos on a glacier.
Oh yeah, the nature's so beautiful. People come from all over the world just to experience those things.
And the northern lights. We see the northern lights.
That's got to be a treat.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. When you see it, it's almost like, what is that? It looks like this curtain, like a mist kind of, but then it turns into stripes that move, like a curtain kind of waving, all different colors. And some people think it makes a sound too. I haven't heard it make a sound, but it's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a great place to live. It's relatively safe to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small community. We live in Anchorage. It's the biggest city in the biggest state, which has the lowest number of people per capita that there is. So it's real spread out. Yeah. So I would say it's a beautiful place and somewhat unforgiving.
How is the scene up there?
Well, it's really small. So we are the only goth band there. Right. There are a few folks there that, identify, and there's people who come from other places there's like cosplayers, and they kind of go with the darker themes. There's a little club that does Gothic Lolita.
Yeah.
Those things, and they're young people.
That's cool.
Most of the people that are our fans in the area are the young folks.
Yeah, I love it. No, I'm just going to say, the young people.
They've come to our shows. We've had the opportunity to do, like all ages shows and do some benefits for our community of LGBTQ questioning.
Most of the kids that come are like trans youth kids, and we're like, well, what can we do to like pay back our fans, basically? in Anchorage, and we did this benefit compilation last year. It's still available. It's called Rainbow Goth, and you can go. There's like 50 tracks or 55
tracks on it.
There's like all kinds of amazing
Community
artists
FK,
on there. Yeah, Community FK, Jeton Moon, Paul Rosler. There's
some punk bands on there too.
Yeah, and a lot of punk bands. You could check it out. I don't want to name them all because some of them are offensive, but yeah. Anyway, it's Rainbow Goth. You can look on Bandcamp.
It's rainbowgoth.bandcamp.com. The scene is very small, but whoever is there is, they've been good and pretty loyal to us. We've managed to make really good friends through the shows we've done and things like that. But it's just real small,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody there wants to come out and say, I'm goth. Like, we kind of make a thing
we make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Kind of like
we're like, we don't have a big community here, where there's a lot of cool stuff happening. It wouldn't make as much sense. I mean, I'm in a gothic community here.
Right.
But if you're there and there's nobody else like you, then at least make a big deal out of that, and it makes people remember you.
So where in Alaska do you get good goth tundra clothing?
That's a great question. We have different, there isn't really a goth shop. There used to be a shop that did punk rock stuff. Like, remember, it was called Subterranea?
Right.
Back in the day. And they don't have that anymore. I just mostly shop online, to get stuff. So in Alaska, though, it depends on where you live. We've been to Fairbanks, which is farther north, in the interior than Anchorage. Anchorage is pretty temperate, so you can, we just order online and get whatever we like from, whatever brand that we're into.
You can always thrift, that's like a guarantee.
We do a lot of thrift shops.
Garage selling, thrifting, all that stuff. It's fun,
We just get you could get a black trench coat thrift shopping. I got one of those long black leather ones at a garage sale.
You can reappropriate things too,
we paint on things.
Yeah, make things out of other things. And,
So there's that, and we have there's a lot of military stuff there in the thrift shops, which is pretty cool. And you can redo that. You can make that you could add patches to it and things like that. And then in Fairbanks, they have a goth community too, a small one, because there's a college there. But it's funny because it's so cold there. It's 20 below could be kind of common in the winter. People wear basically a Carhartt zip-up coverall, which is a padded coverall, and they just wear whatever skimpy stuff you want underneath. They go to the show and just take the whole thing off.
Nice.
So everybody's just kind of they don't really care. You're outdoors. You wear a Carhartt. Everybody knows it's really friggin' cold out. When you get to where you're going, then you just undo and you're like, So
Nice.
Some of it's just a matter of just giving it up. The other thing that you can do is basically just get any kind of basic black coat and wear a cape over top, like a big, like a velvet cloak type of thing.
Yeah.
And that makes everything cool.
Digging through your website, sonicbids.com/CliffAndIvy, it seems like you're not originally from Alaska. So what brought you there?
That's true. And that's our EPK. So if you want to check it out, everything is in there. You can get to all of our other sites from that one. So it's really the best one to go to. But yes, we're originally from other places. We grew up in New Jersey.
We met in 1984 at the Clash concert.
We met at the Clash concert.
That's very romantic.
Our very first, we had a band. So we had a punk band, and she was the lead singer, and I was the guitar player. And it was called The Gout, and it was in 1984. We opened, our first show was Halloween 1984, so this weekend is our 35th anniversary. So Halloween was 35 years of playing together.
That's amazing.
Different bands, lots of different bands, projects, different kinds of music, but always something different, So.
And we lived in New Jersey
New
for a
Brunswick,
while.
New Jersey. Yep.
That's where
she was going to University of Rutgers, and then she was going to art school. And so when we first met, she was doing all these huge paintings, and it's really great. She's a great artist.
Painting major, and it was in the 80s. So, Keith Haring was huge, and we used to go to New York, and see all the different things people would do, like certain kinds of art were
She's a great
kind of
visual
cartoon
artist. Like she
art.
does all these,
Mm-hmm.
originally it was just like, she does all of our shirts,
That's amazing.
all of our art,
Yeah.
But
So
you have like massive art skills, and so I was like, when I met her, I was like, ooh, she's really talented, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
she's really cool. So I was impressed, and then we started playing music together, and we just kind of played a bunch of bands, and we're like, let's get out of New Jersey. So we finally moved to California.
It's a thing. If you live in New Jersey, it's like, let's get in a van and move to California.
We literally
Yeah.
we got in a
Get out of
van.
here.
We got in a van, and it was like 2 weeks. We were like 2 weeks. We lived we were homeless for 2 weeks in a Safeway parking lot. No lie, in California, in Berkeley or whatever, or Oakland.
Berkeley, Oakland, San Francisco, just kind of driving around.
Yeah. And so we were like, we wanted to move to San Francisco. We ended up moving to Oakland because you could like get a warehouse space, and so it was pretty good. So we were like, it was like gunshots every night and stuff. And like, the guys from Flipper lived across the street, and it was pretty wild. And then we eventually were like, well, we could stay here and risk maybe get murdered tomorrow, or we could maybe move to Alaska and try something different. So
We lived there for 3 years in Oakland, and we did live in the warehouse. We did live in a really dangerous neighborhood. There was
it was
across the street a bigger warehouse with like a lot of punk rockers and a lot of it was like a little community there.
Yeah.
And the rent was super cheap of the time.
It was early 90s, like 90 to 93.
Of the time, yeah. And so we ended up, the neighborhood was just so jacked up that we couldn't really get anything done, and the jobs were not there because of the era. Yeah. And I was doing like retail or selling health juice or whatever it was that I had to do, and you worked in a warehouse, and we're like, we're not going to get any farther. We tried to find bandmates and stuff, and we were doing industrial music at the time.
We were jamming a lot. I know we were exploring a lot of different styles and different sounds
and trying out
things.
people, but we didn't land on anybody. We did play shows in the Bay Area though.
We played a few shows, fun. And then
and my mom, our family had moved to Alaska for work. My mom and stepdad had moved there for work already, so we decided to come up and visit. And we saw the Northern Lights, and we saw the night sky without any light pollution because there's no city or anything anywhere near. And we looked in the sky, and it was like this black gel.
Love her.
I know, she's beautiful.
She's cutie.
The sky was like black gel filled with sparkles, like as far you could see so many stars that you didn't even know existed.
Right? That's the one thing I do miss about living in the boonies.
Mm-hmm.
As I moved to Portland and the stars just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to, you could, in the boonies in Tennessee, you could see the Milky Way.
Yeah.
And you can't here.
Yeah, and it was crazy good. So we just decided to move and spend some time with family, and could see what we could do as a band from that place.
Ivy, you have synesthesia. Can you explain to us what that is and how you use it to your advantage?
Sure. Synesthesia is when your senses are leading to other things. It's a sensory, I don't know if you want to call it a condition or phenomena or whatever. It's where you mix up your senses. Like people could hear colors.
Well, you're born that way.
Right. You could be born. You're born that way.
Yeah.
It's a spectrum thing, kind of like autism.
It's related to autism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Synesthesia.
Sensory.
Like ADHD, dyslexia.
They're all kind of the same.
They're all autism related
phenomena. Yeah. And so some people have some people see floating letters or
floating numbers.
Mm-hmm. Some people can smell colors. It's just a different.
Or they taste taste like you see a painting on the wall. They'll taste the colors on it. Yeah.
So that's what it is. But for me, it's like I can. What I do is I see a lot of words. When I see colors or I hear people speaking, I see a lot of words, and what I do is I use a dictionary. This is how I use it to work with the band stuff.
Yeah.
I do a lot of like drawing of music and a pictorial imagery of tones like singleton tones, and I've collected, I haven't done it in a while, but collecting drawn images of singular notes just to see if they're the same, like later, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when I do lyrics for the band, I put my hand on a book, on our encyclopedia, and then I can feel warmth under my hand on some of the letters. I close my eyes and I can feel it, and then I start to feel a color, right? I see a color in my mind, and then I pick out the word and I make a list. Wherever it felt warm, underneath my hand, I pick out a word, I make a list, and then I use the list to see the colors that are associated with the words, and then I just make a pattern with the colors that are in the words, and that comes into the lyrics. If that makes any sense.
So
It sounds
cool.
weird, but
No, I totally
the way
understood
I say it
exactly
sounds weird.
Yeah.
But it's like you make a picture with the colors of the words.
Yeah.
So it's a mix, I guess, of just sensory, like touch,
Uh-huh.
and colors and words somehow. That's basically the story on the synesthesia. Synesthesia, like, is related to autism.
Mm-hmm.
We do have 2 boys who experience autism. A lot of people know that about us, and some people don't, but it's really part of our life in a big kind of way. Just being with our family members and ourselves, probably, who we just see the world differently. And
I have dyslexia, so I've always thought differently and done different things, and always was treated different in school. Like they used to get maybe like daydreaming or something like that, and the teacher would make you put a dunce cap on and go stand in the corner or something.
Oh my God.
Just like horrible. New Jersey
Just make you
school.
go stand out in the hallway.
Way back
I know,
Yeah,
right?
because I've got dyslexia as well and ADHD, and it really sets you apart from the other students and like kind of ostracizes you.
Yeah, totally.
It's not fun.
They'll make fun of you for it.
Yeah.
Just trying to like, it takes time to read and comprehend things. But once you get it, you're like you're on it. It's like it has nothing to do with your IQ. It's just the way you process information. It's just you just think differently. That's all.
And it's part of what brings us to, I'd say it's part of what brings me to the Goth community.
Be creative too. It kind of challenges you in a way to like think around way other people do things, to like come up with your own version of whatever that is.
Yeah.
And I used to like all that stuff, like growing up, all different stuff, and tarot cards and the witched cards and stuff. And people used to call me a witch when I was young. They used to
They're
get
still calling her a witch.
They made fun of my voice because I always had a really low voice, not low volume, but low
pitch.
Tell her whose family member was burned and hung or whatever in Salem.
Oh man, I found this out.
Somebody's family member is actually a witch.
I did Ancestry.com. I got interested in the family genealogy because my mother recently died, and my father recently died, like both this year. So it's been a hard year, but
that's not easy to lose parents.
Yeah, that notwithstanding, I got interested in. I always knew something about my dad's history, but I didn't know much about my mom's, just because of different kind of secretive, like who's dad and who's not who's dad, just old fashioned stuff, which I was like, forget that. And so my one cousin did some ancestry, and then I went on Ancestry.com and traced it back and stuff. So I ended up it ends up that I'm related to several of the people that were accused and executed for witchcraft in Salem. Rebecca Nurse, Mary Eastie, and a couple other people, Putnam, I think, who was Elizabeth Putnam or Sarah Putnam, I can't remember which, who was accused, and the Town family passed Rebecca Nurse. They were accused too. The female, the matriarch, I can't remember her name right now, but just a bunch of them kind of together. And I've never been to Salem, so I would like to go.
Yeah, I plan on, when my daughter gets older, I'm planning on taking her there.
It's like a bucket list thing.
Yeah.
So there's that, and that's been real interesting and unusual for me to think about. And just that, like I was saying before, when I was young, people just called me a witch because I've always been into weird stuff like tarot cards and the moon and nature and animals and feeling colors and like all that crazy like just pyramid power and whatever and my mom was into that too. She encouraged it. She liked the psychic stuff. My mom was very cool with that stuff too and fun. She liked astrology and things like that.
My mom's psychic too. She knows you ate the snacks.
You
weren't supposed to, but you did. I knew.
No, somebody else did it.
I know it was you. I knew you were eating the snacks.
How has being part of the goth scene affected your lives?
You want to go first, or I've been talking a lot.
No, you can talk. Go ahead. It's cool. I mean, I like it. I have fun. We're just really happy to be part of it. I mean, there's so much cool, like, death rock and post-punk and goth and just all the dark wave music and just all the cool, like, music that's happening out there and it has happened. And, we're just excited to meet people and, join in.
It's been super positive. Like you're saying, we've been able to meet people who are the original folks and people we didn't know who are like newer artists that are super creative. And the genre is very wide. It incorporates literature, art, music, and it's one of the more. People think that there's a regimented set of things that you do and like, but that's not true. It's very open, so I enjoy being part of this, and it brings a lot of enrichment to my life and a place for me because of that. Because I have art, I have music. We have our children who are different, and there's a lot of acceptance within the Gothic community or goth community of anything different. And I just we always like monsters and horror movies and, like all the magic and things. Yeah. Just things that people, what is your life without magic? What is your life without mystery? People really yearn for that. And so that is why, and it's a paradox, and people think it's about being depressed, but it's not. It's like a joyful thing for me and a powerful thing for me. And like I said before, music has brought me everything that I love. It's really, really important to me. And I can see that's happened for other people that we've gotten to know in the scene too. And it's just been fun. And it's also really accepting, as you get older. I mean, we're not spring chickens, which is like, that's okay. But we just meet more and more people who also are not spring chickens, and like, we're still weird, it's like, it's okay,
right? Like, mom's like, oh, it's just a phase.
Yeah.
Okay, mom.
Yeah. It's like it's a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
And, I guess just positive. It's just been a really positive thing.
What wisdom would you like to impart on the world? This is always a real thinker.
So be nice to people.
Yeah?
If you can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I try to strive for that.
Yeah. Try to help somebody out, Try to help, like you help out someone that, you could obviously see someone needs help, go beyond yourself and try to help somebody, It's just like, help somebody on the way up or on the way down or whatever, So,
yeah.
Try to be thankful for what you got, you have a lot, even if you think you don't have enough or you don't have this or you don't have that, you have something.
You always have enough.
And you have something,
Yeah.
So don't give up,
I would say that.
And
too.
if it's not working out, try something different, try something new that makes you maybe, get to the point, like what makes you happy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think probably like I just kind of take it in the context of like what would I tell myself, as a younger person, like with what I know now, because I only know what I know.
Buy Apple stock.
No, yeah, right. Buy stock in Viagra. No, it would be like, definitely believe in yourself because you are worth it. You are valid. Your voice is valid. never let anybody tell you that art and music isn't important. Stick with it. Look for your themes, and go with those. Go deeper into those, and don't be afraid of that. And then another thing that I think is really cool that you said that we've been thinking about lately is sometimes all that you get to keep is that you give away.
Yeah, it's true.
And so the more you give away, and the more you help other people out and highlight other people and make them special, the more special you become. Somehow it just kind of comes around, so.
Well, I was just explaining that to a friend of ours tonight. What happened to my grandmother was that her home burnt to the ground, and so the only things that she got to actually keep in her life were things that she had given away, like all her, family photos that she'd shared with other family members, and things that she had given to other people, and those were the things that she actually got to keep because she
They
lost
gave them
everything.
back to her because she lost everything
everything.
that was in her home.
Yeah. So that's where that's that sort of
and that's
comes
a grandma
from. Kind of
wisdom.
like
Yeah.
I
so
like that one.
I do
it
too.
was good. It's important,
Yeah.
I think it's a more elevated way of saying it's not all about you. And it also, I mean it in a way where one could reduce one's anxiety about having to be everything all the time. You don't have to be everything all the time, because it's not always about you. It's a lot of times about other people and how they can help you, and then things that you give away end up coming back to you literally if you need to consolidate, and if you lost things, or maybe it was meant to be that you lost those things and what came back was the important stuff.
Right.
Those types of things. So I don't mean it in a bad way, like it's not all about you, but a lot of times you get anxious. Like I get anxious about having to do everything and be perfect and be there for the kids and earn enough money and do great music and things like that. And it's just like you can only do what you can do, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's true too.
yeah. Right? Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. I get you. Well, that would be it, I think. At least right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on my show. And
And
I
thank you for
really
having
enjoyed
us.
having you guys
Yeah.
today.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
And thanks for sharing your kitty.
Oh, of course.
She's a beauty.
Little Miss Susie.
She's a beauty girl.
So, also, thank you guys for tuning in. And this was episode 5 of Portland Undead, featuring CliffAndIvy, Alaska's only goth band, holding it down in the northwest northeast. What? Northwest.
Northwest.
Yeah.
Northwest.
Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And all of their links and social media stuffs will be in the description below. Be sure to go follow them around because their music is top notch. Very classic goth. I enjoyed listening to it. Oh, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought. If you have anything to say to CliffAndIvy, I'm sure they'll watch the comment section occasionally. Let us know. Do stuff and things. We'll see you next week.